Please be seated. I call to order the Okaloosa County School Board meeting for February 23rd, 2026. A couple of items. First of all, we do have a public hearing with 3 items that we are scheduled to do at 5:15. We're going to try and hit that mark as best we can. Also, if you want to speak to any of those items tonight, you do not have to fill out a blue card for that. But any other agenda items you will, and any non-agenda items would be the yellow card. Okay, so we'll do that. So, board members, we're going to move on to part 2, which is approval of the agenda. At this time, we don't have any changes to the agenda, so I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Heinley, second. Second by Dr. White. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 5-0. We do not have any recognitions, but we do have some administrative personnel appointments. 4.1, appointment of Assistant Principal 2, 10-month for Walker Elementary School. I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Chambers for this recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Chair and School Board. I do have a bio that I am going to read, and I bring before you Miss Julie Ward. Miss Julie Ward was raised in Big Spring, Texas, where she met and married her high school sweetheart, Ryan. Together, they have 3 daughters, McKenna, Mackenzie, and McKinley. Mrs. Ward earned her bachelor's degree from Lubbock Christian University. She later obtained a master's degree in curriculum and instruction from the University of Texas at El Paso, as well as a master's degree in educational leadership from the University of West Florida. Mrs. Ward brings 13 years of experience in education to her role. For the past year, she has served as the Dean of Students at Walker Elementary, and if approved, looks forward to continuing to serve and support the Walker community. Ms. Ward.
Okay, thank you. All right, board members, I need a motion to accept the recommendation of Ms. Ward.
Madam Chair, I'll be happy to make that motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Bryant. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Destin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Congratulations, Ms. Ward.
Good evening, members of the school board and Mr. Chambers. Thank you for this opportunity and for your confidence in me. I am truly honored to stand before you tonight. I am humbled by your trust and fully committed to serving with passion, integrity, and excellence. I want to thank God for this opportunity. I believe every step that has led me to this moment has been guided by His purpose. To my family, both those here tonight and those watching from across the United States, thank you for your constant love and belief in me. To my husband, Ryan, thank you for being my greatest supporter and steady foundation. It is a blessing to walk through this life alongside you. To my girls, McKenna, Mackenzie, and Mac, thank you for cheering me on, your patience during the late nights and those missed moments, and for all of your unconditional love. Do not go unnoticed. I hope you always remember, if Mama can do it, you can too. To my mentors, thank you for seeing something in me even when I couldn't see it in myself. Thank you for investing in me, challenging me, and shaping me into the educator and leader that I am today. And finally, to my Walker family, you embraced me from day one. You walked with me as a teacher, as a parent, as a dean, and now as your assistant principal. I am grateful to serve alongside such dedicated and passionate educators each day. I'm excited for this next chapter and honored to continue leading Walker with passion, with grace, with heart, and with gratitude. Thank you.
All right, so come on up and we'll get a picture here. All supporting Ms. Ward can come on up. Yeah.
You're gonna take a couple, so just keep smiling.
moving along to 4.2, we have the appointment of Assistant Principal 2, 10-month at Richburg School, also recommended by Mr. Chambers.
Thank you, Madam Chair, School Board. I bring before you Miss Jackie Wyndham. Ms. Wyndham is a proud product of the Okaloosa County School District and an educator with 20 years of dedicated service. She earned both her bachelor's degree in elementary education at ESOL and exceptional student education in ESOL, as well as a master's degree in educational leadership from the University of West Florida. Mrs. Wyndham began her teaching career at Kate M. Smith Elementary School in Washington County, Florida, where she taught 4th grade, 1st and 2nd grade ESE, and inclusion. During her time there, she was honored as Rookie Teacher of the Year, Washington County Rookie Teacher of the Year, and Teacher of the Year. She later returned to Okaloosa County Schools, serving at Longwood Elementary for 7 years as a 3 through 5 VE teacher, and was again selected as Teacher of the Year. She then joined Elliott Point Elementary as the ESE resource teacher before becoming the district's ESE instructional coach. And I bring before you Ms. Wyndham.
All right, board members, I need a motion for Ms. Wyndham.
Madam Chair, I'll be happy to make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Bryan, I need a second. Second by Dr. White. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Congratulations, Ms. Wyndham.
When I get nervous, I laugh. So.
Well, that's good.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers and members of the school board, for your trust and belief in me. I am truly honored and deeply grateful for the opportunity to serve as assistant principal at Richburg. I would also like to extend my sincere appreciation to Mr. Harvell for having the confidence and support. I look forward to working alongside of you, serving our students and our staff and our families of Richburg. To my husband, Vince, my children, grandchildren, and family, thank you for the constant love, encouragement, and unwavering support. To my friends, colleagues, and the many leaders who have guided, inspired, and believed in me throughout this journey, thank you for helping shape the educator and leader I strive to be. I am humbled by this opportunity, and I look forward in serving with dignity, commitment, and passion. Thank you.
All right, let's get a picture here. So come on up.
Squeeze in between the podiums, guys. Squeeze in.
How are you doing?
Squeeze in over here on the left side.
They take sponge because you don't put big ribs. All right, can you You do kind of around it. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a brief recess so that any of you that want to go and celebrate our new administrators may do that, maybe go to dinner, and then we'll reconvene in just a couple minutes. Thank you. Recess. Sir. Okay, we're back in session. All right, so we are sitting at the time for our public hearing, and this works out great because Mr. Chambers wants to make a brief presentation prior to the item. So I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chambers.
Thank you, Madam Chair and School Board. And I also want to say thank you to everybody who is here and those who are not here as we've gone through this process. And I do want to start with this quote once again. And I'm not going to read the whole quote, but in essence what it goes into is school is more than just a school building. It's more than where subjects are taught. It's about community. It's about togetherness. And like we shared in the January board meeting, bringing a proposal like this here in this school district where we haven't had to do such things is not something that's easy in any way, shape, or form. And each of us probably has our own personal story. And each of you do as well. And just want to acknowledge that. But I do want to get into why we are here. And this was a slide that we shared in early January. And so the proposal that is before the board today is to close 2 schools, Mary Esther Elementary and Longwood Elementary. And I do want to take just a moment to say both of these schools are absolutely outstanding schools. And there's teachers, there's administrators, and there's a long list of students who have been there over the years who have represented their schools very well and Okaloosa County very well. And I know there's been some comments out there about grades or about status. And Mary Esther, an excellent school, who's been an A school, who's been a B school. Longwood Elementary has been an A all the way to a C. And I'll tell and fight anybody, even when we talk about Longwood Elementary in terms of being a C school, what they do for their students is outright outstanding. And I just appreciate that. But there are challenges that are before us today. And those challenges are real. And we went over some of these in January, and we've outlined them also throughout the first semester in different ways. First of all, we do know that right now we are in a difficult budget situation, not only here in Okaloosa, but across the state of Florida. And right now, we are in the process of going through what next year's budget is going to look like. The Senate has proposed their budget, as the House has as well. But one thing has been made clear from our state, and it's that the next 2 budget cycles will be even more challenging than what we're dealing with right now. Over the last 2 years, we've adjusted our budget by $22 million. This year, we will be north of $12 million again and having to make some adjustments. And I'm going to go some more into that in a moment. But then looking at declining enrollment, which is real. When you're looking at expanded school choice, such as the Family Empowerment Scholarship, PEP, and I'm going to get a little bit more into that in a moment. But then just looking at the rising costs and inflation. All of these things impact not only Okaloosa, but they impact districts across this state. So then you look at, what have we done? And you look at what have we done prior to where we are right now and trying to take care of our own business with the hand that we've been dealt in terms of budgets, in terms of decline in enrollment. And one of the things that you look at right away is we've reduced operating expenditures the last number of years. We've looked at restructuring the district department positions. Over the last 3 years, to include this upcoming, we will have cut over $1 million at the district level. We've looked at our self-funded medical insurance as a means to be even stronger financially, and also looked at restructuring our district staffing grid, which we do each year, but we have to make sure that our district staffing grid meets where we are with FTE. And when FTE is going down, you have to adjust those things accordingly. But then also our coaching program, which is something near and dear to my heart, of having to make some adjustments there. And there will be adjustments, continued adjustments, in this upcoming 26-27 budget. And nothing that I say with a sense of strength of this is what we want to do, but to be responsible with the dollars that we receive. There's adjustments that will have to be made even this upcoming year. So then you look at I just want to go over communication. And when this decision from the district level, not the school board, from the district level was made, and it was months and months of deliberation with staff in terms of, are we going to bring this proposal forward? And as you know, we eventually brought it forward. But we have talked with faculty and staff and administration at Mary Esther Elementary, at Longwood Elementary, even before the January board meeting, and we did so because we did not want them to hear a proposal prior to them knowing something about it. So we wanted to share that with them before it became public at a meeting. Didn't want them to be shocked by that. We've also spoken with city officials, and I absolutely respect the Mary Esther Council, the mayor, the city manager, and it's not easy from their seat, and I fully understand that, but we try to have good communication there. With our community partners, we've had communication, and then since that January meeting, we've gone back to both schools. We've gone to the schools that students would matriculate to. So we've spoken with them. We've spoken with parents at Mary Esther and parents at Longwood. I think there was even a second meeting at Mary Esther to have one in the morning as well. And I say all that to say that that's not necessarily perfect, but we've strived to have strong communication during this process. We've also spoken with military officials as well at Hobart and Eglin. So then you get to one of the reasons of why we're here. If you look at the South Zone over the last 10 years, and you look at elementary has declined by 19.3%. And when you look at two of the schools that's before us today, and I don't mean this as a negative, but they're well over the 19% in terms of decline in student enrollment. And I want to be very clear that the decline in student enrollment is not due to teaching. It's not due to administration. There's a decline that has happened over the last 10 years. I will say to this board, just like we said in the first semester, there's some things that we will have to do differently. And we'll have to approach, especially elementary, differently. And there will be some proposals that will come before this board for the upcoming school year to combat declining enrollment. But family empowerment scholarships, which is a big piece of it, is not the only factor. So then you look at the next 8 years. So you look at, like we've said, we are the tail of two counties. Everything north of the Shoal River and everything south of the Shoal River. When you look at the north side at the elementary level, over the next 8 years, we're seeing some growth. Everything below the Shoal River, we're seeing decline. And when you look at Central, a decline over the next 8 years of 516 students, 607 in the south, and in the Destin community about 332. And when you've had decline, in essence, the last 10 years, and now it's projected that that decline is going to continue, when budgets are where they are right now, lack of affordable housing, and other factors, decisions have to be made. So you look here, and this is part of some of the information. One part is from Senator Gates with the bill that he was trying to put forward to help with the family empowerment scholarships that went before the Senate. In my understanding, that still to date, that's where it is. But you look at 45 of the 67 school districts across the state of Florida are experiencing significant declines in student enrollment. And that's a big deal. Then you go to the availability of affordable housing. You go to birth rates. And when I say birth rates, this is not a Marcus Chambers thing. This is just data of what is there in terms of impacts on population and enrollment. And then you look at school choice options. And I want to be very clear here again, because some folks could be listening in for the first time. I'm not against school choice options. but I am against the architecture of the current system that's in place for Family Empowerment Scholarships and PEP. So when you look at what this impacts, how this impacts Okaloosa. So you look at, on the Family Empowerment Scholarship side, about 3,300 students have a Family Empowerment Scholarship. We have about 1,633 have a PEP scholarship. So that's just about 5,000. 3,500 of those students have never attended Okaloosa schools. And like I've said before, just because the math is easier, so if we just said 3,000 never attended Okaloosa schools, that's 27 million that's going strictly to fund private education. And we know that that number is over 30 million that's going to fund private school, and they never attended Okaloosa schools. So I have had some conversations with those who have a Family Empowerment Scholarship and they're in private school. And again, this has nothing to do with families making a choice. They absolutely have the ability to do that. But in my opinion, that funding structure should be completely outside of our funding structure. And if 42 to almost 45 million is there to fund it, in my mind, that shouldn't be taken away from public education. Those are dollars that can be there for public education. So then you look at just where we are. So we've looked at populations in terms of students across the South Zone, but we've also looked at the Central, we looked at the South. And then you look at where we are in terms of finances and budgets coming in. Right now, when you look at the budgets that are there, we said last year's budget, the base student allocation, it went up about $43. The previous year, about 191. So it went down. This year, it looks like it may be back up to about 190, somewhere in that area. It still has to all be said and done, but like we've shared on multiple meetings, to break even, if we give our teachers and our staff a commensurate raise with inflation and cost of living, then it'll cost almost $350 per student just to break even. Now, I'm grateful that the base student allocation looks like it's going up. I'm very grateful for that, but it's nowhere near where it needs to be in terms of even breaking even. But again, appreciative that it is going up, appreciative that the Senate and the House are both looking at ways to do certain things, but we still are where we are as a school district. I do want to say to those who are out there, there is a zoning webpage that does have information about what we've presented. It has also information in terms of questions and answers that have been there, so you're able to get some information there. And with this, I want Mr. Spolsky to come up because there's two pieces that are before us. There's Longwood Elementary and Mary Esther Elementary, and then there's also the rezoning piece to this as well.
Thank you, Superintendent Chambers, Madam Chair, board members. I'll just be very brief, but also try to be as clear as possible. Resolution 2603, obviously we wanted to present this at the same time because we would have to have schools that would receive these students. So we worked diligently with our MGT Davis partners. We worked with receiving school principals. We went out and we shared not only these maps with the teachers and the employees, but also put them out there on the website when we did our different meetings at Mary Esther and Longwood. You can see the chair. We call that the chair where the F is there. That's the proposed Florosa zone. The blue is Elliott Point. The bottom purple is Edwards. The red or maroon is Wright. And then the top violet is Kenwood. The green off to the right is Shalimar. So those would be the schools in those areas where we can use the school site locator. Parents would be able to go in and put their addresses. And this has been live out there on our sites with our frequently asked question pages and our email addresses as well for those parents to see where these addresses would land them in these school districts zones.
Thank you, Mr. Spolsky. And the last thing that I would say is Okaloosa is not alone in where we are today in terms of declining student enrollment, challenging budgets. There are, just like we spoke about the previous board meetings, there are many other districts who are going through the same process. And I'll say to this board, like I've said before, I am the one who brought this to you. So you did not ask for this, but I brought it because of where we are. It's the last recommendation that I would ever want to make. I've shared before. There were a number of people who are in here for Mrs. Wyndham's becoming an assistant principal. And a number of them were from Longwood Elementary when I was the principal there. And that is a hard thing. But this is the proposal before you.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers. Okay, board members, takes us to 15.1. Public hearing for consideration and approval of Resolution 26-01, adopting a school closure plan for Longwood Elementary School at the end of the 2025-2026 school year, and to provide for the surplus and disposal of real property. And it's presented by Mr. John Spolsky, Assistant Superintendent, and recommended by Mr. Chambers. Okay, so we go with public first, okay? All right, so if anyone would like to speak to this, if you would please come to a podium. You may speak on this item at this time. Okay, seeing none. Board members, anyone want to say anything to this item before we take a vote? Okay, I need a motion to approve this item.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay. Item, a motion by Mr. Heinley, second by Mr. Destin. Okay, any other comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Okay, moving on to 15.2. Public hearing for consideration and adoption of Resolution 26-02, approving the proposed school closure plan for Mary Esther Elementary School at the end of the 25-26 school year, and to provide for the surplus and disposal of real property, presented by Mr. John Spolsky, Assistant Superintendent, and approved by the Superintendent. Is anyone here wishing to speak to this item? Please come forward. Okay. Seeing none, board members, I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Destin, I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bryant. Any discussion, board members?
I'll have just one comment. You know, I didn't run to get elected to close schools. It's one of the last things I ever intended that I wanted to do. I will suggest this will likely be one of the hardest things that I'll have to do during my tenure. I hope that it has to be the hardest. I don't want anything worse than this because it's hard to imagine a greater impact on our students and families. But when I ran, I think a lot like Mr. Heinley, I ran as an outsider. I'm not from this institution. I'm not from education. I'm from the business community. And I think I came with a bit of what the general public's perception tends to be about government in general, which is if they could just manage their money better, then it would all be straightened out. And I will admit I had a bit of that when I came in. I've been in for about 13, 14 months now, and I don't know how to break it down more simply to the members of the general public who I represent, other than the fact is what I have learned is this is not a made-up problem. Waste, fraud, and abuse does occur in government in certain places, but it's oftentimes too simplistic of a villain to blame the complexity of these issues when government makes decisions. And having lived inside this institution and made it my primary occupation for the last year, I can tell you that this is not a made-up boogeyman. It's not a question of just moving parts and pieces around inside the institution. If we could just simply manage our money better, we wouldn't be in this situation. There are tectonic forces occurring in public education right now in the state of Florida, and we are not separate from that. And it comes down to declining enrollment. We have fewer students. We share them with competing choices. We are not bound by the same rules as our competitors. We have more regulations that we have to comply with, and therefore spend money complying with, than our competition. Our competition gets to offer choices and flexibility that we simply are not able to indulge in due to federal and state laws when we provide education to our students. It costs money to do all of that. And so to compete, I'm all for competition. To do it on a level playing field is a requirement for it to be fair. The playing field's just not fair. It hasn't been in a long time. And that falls squarely not on anybody other than our state legislature. They set the rules for all of us. And as it stands right now, to put a fine bow on it, we need everyone who cares deeply about these school closures, that care deeply about traditional education, to reach out to their state legislators and explain to them what's happening to your students, your families, and get them to understand that it's fine to have school choice, but make sure that everybody is receiving enough funds so that everybody can compete on an even playing field and let the best institutions win. That's fine, but right now, everything is so far slated onto one side of the competition that we are consistently having to make cuts all over public education, and many of them are coming down to the bone, just like this. Reach out to your legislators and get them to remember school choice options are great, but make sure we don't forget about the 80% of the students that live in the state of Florida that attend traditional public schools. Do not forget them. If we do, only bad things happen in the long term. Only bad things. We can't function as a society where 80% of the kids are abandoned in dysfunctioning and going bankrupt schools. It's a future in a community, a state I don't want to live in, and I don't think it's one that you want to live in either. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Mr. Destin. Other comments, board members? Just want to add to that while you brought about the legislature, one of the things that I found most frustrating in all of this, and that Mr. Chambers mentioned that Senator Gates put forward a bill to make sure that the funding was separate, is the fact when we found out that this Florida Empowerment Program, scholarship program, when it was audited, we found that somewhere in the upwards of $247 million was unaccounted for. So there was no checks and balances for the program. So not knowing, we probably had students come back into our district and we weren't even aware of that. And so obviously that's abuse. And I can tell you with the auditing and with a look at what we have to do as a public school system, which every single penny is looked at, I think that's something the public should know, that's one of the reasons that's part of this problem. But yet, when Senator Gates put the bill out, like you said, at this time, it's pretty much gone flat and died on the Senate floor because no one in the House would pick it up, despite this audit. And that's frustrating and very sad. So please be aware of that information. Anything else, board members, before I call for the vote? Okay, at this time, all in favor of 15.2, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, moving to item 15.3. Public hearing for consideration and adoption of Resolution 26-03 and the proposed rezoning of student attendance areas for those students currently zoned to attend Mary Esther Elementary School and Longwood Elementary School, and to establish a new student attendance zone for students who will be attending Edwins Elementary School, Elliott Point Elementary School, Florosa Elementary School, Kenwood Elementary School, Shalimar Elementary School, and Wright Elementary School to be effective at the beginning of the 26-27 school year, presented by Mr. Spolsky, Assistant Superintendent, and recommended by Superintendent Chambers. Anyone who would like to speak to this item, please come forward. All right, seeing none, I need a motion, board members.
So moved. Excuse me, so moved.
Moved by Mr. Bryant, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Heinley. Any comments, board members? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 5-0. That ends our public hearing. Okay, board members, you want to go back up? Now, section 5 is a public comment section, but we open that up on the public hearing. But if anybody has a blue card wishing to speak on any other agenda item, if you'll bring that forward, do you have any? Okay, all right, then we're going to move along from 5.1 down to section 6, committee and staff reports, workshop only. So it's 6.1, Oglala County District School Board Internal Funds Financial Statements for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2025, presented by Ms. Perry. That's just for information. 6.2, in-county travel paid for January 2026, presented by Ms. Perry. And 6.3, out-of-county travel paid for January 2026, presented by Ms. Perry. All right, moving down to section 7, the consent agenda. 7.1, I need approval of the consent agenda. I need a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Bryant, need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Destin. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passes 5-0. Okay. Moving down to section 8, Superintendent's Human Resources Recommendation. 8.1 is for information only, employees on administrative leave, presented by Ms. Maxey. 8.2, also for information only, deferred retirement option program, presented by Ms. Maxey. 8.3, Heroes in the Classroom Bonus Program application for the fiscal year 25-26, presented by Ms. Duran, Program Director, Professional Services. This is an action item. I need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Heinley, second by Mr. Bryant. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes 5-0. 8.4, employment separations, presented by Ms. Maxey. I do need a motion.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Mr. Destin, need a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bryant. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, passes 5-0. 8.5, personnel recommendations, presented by Ms. Maxey. I need a motion, please.
Move it.
Okay, by motion by Dr. White. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bryant. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, passes 5-0. 8.6, employee transfers, presented by Ms. Maxey. I need a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Bryant. Need a second.
Second.
Second by Dr. White. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. 8.7, reinstatement, reimbursement of sick leave due to line of duty illness, injury, medical examination, presented by Ms. Maxey. Need a motion?
So moved.
Okay, so motion by Mr. Heinley, second by Mr. Destin. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passes 5-0. 8.8, leave without pay, presented by Ms. Maxey. Need a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Destin, second by Mr. Bryant. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. There's not an item on the discussion agenda tonight. We're moving down to 10, the construction program owners representatives business. Mr. Heinley gave a thorough report at our earlier meeting in the month. Do you have anything to add tonight, sir?
I do not.
Okay, so that's 10.1. We don't have anything to add. We're going to 10.2, TPM program number 6, task order number 37, scope modification number 6, GMP sales tax, HVAC projects, Niceville High School Media Center chilled water supply return piping insulation replacement project, presented by Mr. Dustin Keith, Program Director for Facilities. All right, I need a motion.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mr. Hiley, need a second. Second by Mr. Destin. Any comments on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Okay, moving down to section 11. Mr. McGinnis, any comments tonight?
No report tonight.
Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to 12, superintendent's business. 12.1 is out-of-state student trips and any correspondence. Anything, Mr. Chambers, tonight?
No, ma'am. I think you know I was at the Florida High School Athletic Associated meeting on Sunday and Monday, and came back today. But just appreciate you all carrying forward and also being there at the board workshop. So thank you, and nothing further tonight.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, moving down to section 13, board members' announcements and requests. First item, board members, 13.1 is the submission of our Peggy Gorday-Bruner Award ballots. If you will pass those forward, I will send those down.
I folded over. I'd like to, don't smear your ink that you just finished.
Okay.
There's-
Is it still wet?
Yeah, I went to the end. I made my decision.
Okay. All right. Then we're going to move to 13.2, board members' announcements. I started with Dr. White this morning, so I'm going to start down here with Mr. Heinley.
No further announcement.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Destin?
I was just going to brag on Fort Walton Beach High School. They are really having one heck of a spring semester. So I just wanted to give an update to the board and anybody who's listening out there. Our boys soccer team leaves for the Final Four on Wednesday morning. And our girls basketball team is headed to the regional final at Bishop Kenny on Friday. And it's always great to brag on the athletics, but I really enjoy bragging on the academics and the arts. So I gotta give a shout out to Anthony Doyle. He won several awards at the science fair last week, which the school district hosts, I believe, for the entire Panhandle. And in winning several awards, he also earned a qualifying spot in the International Science Fair in Engineering, and he's going to be traveling in the late spring, as several of our other students from our other high schools did. But we were well represented at the Science Fair, and these people, I mean, you spend a few moments with them, you go, they're going to change the world. It's incredible. That's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bryant?
I said my piece this morning. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Dr. White?
Nothing further.
Okay, all right. All right, and so we did, moving down to 14, we're on our second public comment. This is general public comments, yellow card. 14.1, members of the public desiring to address the school board with general comments on general topics. Do we have any yellow cards? Okay, having none. And we've done our public hearing. And so let me just see, is there anything else up here? Okay, anything from the staff? Okay, over here? All right, I think we've covered it. So this meeting is adjourned. Good evening.